Bluegrass Jam Along is proud to be sponsored by Collins Guitars and Mandolins, each and every one built from the sound up in Austin, Texas. Hi, this is Matt, and you're listening to Bluegrass Jam Along, the podcast for anyone and everyone who loves bluegrass. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This is your Bluegrass Briefing for Monday the 28th of July 2025. And if you've missed anything on the podcast recently, there's been some cool stuff. I put out an interview with Sarah Watkins of I'm With Her and Nickel Creek, all about I'm With Her's new record, and that was a couple of weeks ago now. Do go and check that out. That was a really fun one, really cool episode to do. Absolutely loved doing that one. I also put out last week a bite-sized short episode taken from an interview I did with Caitlin Canty a couple of years ago about her record Quiet Flame, which I love. And I just pulled out a little chunk of that and put it out last week, so do go and listen to that. And the full episode, if you haven't heard it, that is a really fun one. Coming up on the podcast, we've got an interview with Joe Brent of Ad Europa Records. Lots of stuff that's been on the podcast in recent times has come out on Ad Europa, and I thought it'd be really cool to talk to him because it's a record label with a bit of a difference. The Joe K. Walsh stuff we chatted about came out on that, the Jacob Jolliffe record, so many things. So yes, check that out. I think that's coming out on Wednesday this week. That was a really fun one to do as well. But yeah, that's it. Just there's more stuff coming. I'm going to take a bit of time off over summer. But I will let you know a little bit more in due course. There's quite a few really interesting things lined up already. But yeah, if you missed the Sarah Watkins interview, check that out. The Caitlin Canty bite-size episode, and come back on Wednesday and have a listen to an episode all about Ad Europa Records, which is really fun. I will see you in the next section, which is news and announcements, Church Street News. And the main bit of news this week sort of overlaps with podcast news, really, and it is that I've been nominated as Broadcaster of the Year at the RBMA Awards. There's all sorts of industry awards that are done on the same day as the music awards in a different ceremony during the day, and it's a really good one. It's got kind of Writer of the Year, Sleeve Notes of the Year, Broadcaster. Lots of really, really cool stuff goes on in that one. And that was the one I was nominated for. So Broadcast of the Year. It's fantastic. A podcaster hasn't won it yet. So it's just amazing to be on the list, really, alongside a bunch of people who've been doing this for a long time in various formats, radio, DJs and that kind of thing. So it's really exciting. And I'll be out in Chattanooga in September for the awards. So yeah, just another reason to be excited about that. But yes, I was delighted about that. It's really, really amazing to get even onto the nominations list. It's such a cool thing to get. But that is my only bit of news really this week. We're going to move on and do the new releases, which is The Grass is New. And there's a few bits to tell you about this week. First bit up is from David Grisman's Acoustic Oasis label, and it's an album called Jamming with Jesse, and it's Jesse McReynolds and David Grisman from 2014. It's been out a couple of weeks, I think, now, so that's a really cool one. Do go and check that out. David's putting out something every month on Acoustic Oasis, and it's just an amazing catalogue of stuff he's got there. So do check that out. There is a new album from Hilary Hawk called Lift Up This Old World, which actually is on Ad Europa Records. I'm going to be talking about later in the week. I've added a track from that to the playlist. Go and have a listen. There's also a new single from Sierra Farrell and Nikki Lane called Lesson in Leaving, which I've added to the playlist too. What else? Becky Buller, who's been on the podcast, you might remember she came to chat about her album Jubilee. She's got a new track called Hazy Shade of Winter, which is off a 6-track EP of covers, which is all out now. So I put that single in the playlist, but go and check the whole thing out. Big fan of Becky on this podcast. Do go and listen to that. And then there's a second single from Ethan Sataiwan's record, which is coming out next month, I think. And it's an album full of duets with his favourite mandolin players. And this one's called Mount Holly, and it's with Joe K. Walsh. I'm going to chat to Ethan on the podcast fairly soon about that record. Really fascinating project. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. I haven't spoken to him yet, so that'll be really fun. So lots of good stuff there. There's the Acoustic Oasis Jamming with Jesse record, Hilary Hawk's album, the Sierra Farrell single, Becky Buller's EP, and the Ethan Sataiwan record as well. Go and check all of those out. And a while ago on the podcast, I chatted about the fact that there was an Alison Krauss vinyl reissue coming out, Now That I've Found You, which is a collection. And that's Craft Recordings putting that on vinyl, and that is out now, came out, I think, on Friday. So that is also there. I'll stick a link in the show notes if you're interested in that one. But the rest of it, go and listen to the Grass's Mostly New playlist. There's a link in the show notes. It's on Spotify, you can also go and find it. And I'm just collecting all of these things there, so you've got a kind of repository of all the new music this year if you want to go and check stuff out. That is it for the new releases. Next up is the section I call Scroll On Buddy, which is just something that I've spotted on social media and wanted to sort of flag. And I think this one is a really interesting one. Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway. Molly's moved on and has a new band now, but they've just done their final performance together at Rocky Grass. And yeah, that looked like a lot of fun, and it must have been a fun and emotional moment for all of them. I've had all of that band, apart from Molly, on the podcast over the years. I've spoken to Bronwyn Keith Hines a couple of times about her solo records. Shelby was on just the other week talking about her solo record. Carl was on talking about his, and also talking about Earl Scruggs. And Dominic Leslie joined me on the podcast when we celebrated Mike Marshall and Chris Thiele's Into the Cauldron a while ago. So yeah, it's, fun to have talked to all of them, but fun to see them back together for a final performance before they all go their separate ways. I think they brought a lot of joy to a lot of people over the past few years. A lot of people have enjoyed those gigs and that music, so good for them. I hope they enjoy whatever is next. That is it. Normally I just tell you what I've been listening to this week, and this week it's been a bit Tony Rice. I found a couple of his CDs on eBay that I didn't have, just classic albums. Manzanita was one, and Plays and Sings Bluegrass was the other, so I've just been re-familiarising myself with those, really, and having, obviously, a lot of fun doing it. Short, snappy briefing this week, that is it. I'll be back on Wednesday, which is my birthday, with the Ad Hiropa interview. Looking forward to putting that one out. In the meantime, all the usual stuff applies. bluegrassjamalong.com for chord sheets, backing tracks, interviews, info, links to come and find me, various places. And as always, if you want to support the podcast, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts for 99 cents a month. All goes towards helping keeping this going, and I would very much appreciate it if you do. But that is it. I will see you next time. Have a great week and happy picking. Bluegrass Jam Along is proud to be sponsored by Collins Guitars and Mandolins, each and every one built from the sound up in Austin, Texas.